Hello everybody, Mr. Heap here. Hope you're all having a good day. Today we're going to do the opposite of what we did the previous day. Now what we're going to do is we are going to have a number guessing game, but we think of the number in our heads and we tell the computer whether we want it higher or lower than the number that they are guessing. So the first thing we want our computer to do is tell the user, pick a number between 1 and 100. All right, so we have a number we're thinking of in our head, and so now the computer wants to make a good guess at what that number is. Now they could guess 3, they could guess 27, but probably the most logical way to do this is guess right in the middle. So we want to pick a number right smack in the middle. And so first off, to find the middle, we take the average of the two numbers. To average two numbers, you add them up and divide by 2. So if we take our low to be 1 and our high to be 100, we want to find the average of those numbers. And so our average is equal to our low plus our high, and then we're just going to divide that by 2 because there's only two numbers we're taking the average of. All right, so now we have the average, and then we're going to ask, is your number, and then I'm just going to put plus average. So what that's doing is it's saying, is your number whatever's in the middle? So this looks fine. There's only one thing we're forgetting. This here is what we call a string. A string is just anything that has quotes and something in the middle. It's typically words, but it could just be numbers in there too. But it sees it as a string, and you can't combine a string and a number together. So we have to tell our computer to treat this like a string by saying str in front of it. So now if we run this, it should tell us to pick a number between 1 and 100, and then it's going to guess that the number is 50.5. Well, one thing that we assume when someone says pick a number between 1 and 100, we expect it to be an integer or a whole number. We're not expecting it to be a decimal. So there's something called floor division that we learned way early in the chapter, or in the first chapter, where if we have 2 of these, it just goes down. So instead of 50, it just gives you the whole number in front. 50.5, it gives you the whole number in front, which was just 50. So is your number 50? All right, now we get to choose yes or no. So in order to do that, we need to call this a variable name. Let's call it guess, because it's the computer guessing our number. So now we get to say if guess is equal to yes, we could print out I have guessed your answer. I guessed your answer easily. Ha 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 ha. Wicked computer voice. All right, so now we have that. And so if they say yes, then you say it answered it easily, and then you move on. However, if that guess equals no, that is when things got interesting. Print. Now we'll just print something like we want them to tell was my guess too high or too low? And now I made a mistake. I said print. We don't want to print that. We want to ask them that. So here we'll say input. So instead of out in front of input, we'll need to save this as an answer. Maybe we'll say direction, so we know if their direction was too high or too low. Now, for this video, we're going to call it quits, but hopefully you can run it and just say yes. It tells you that it answered the question easily, or we run it and say no. And it says it's wondering if the guess is too high or too low. I didn't answer that right, but it's good enough.